Thanks for tuning in to The Real Deal Show, brought to you by ebodyboarding.com and Tribe Boards. Hey folks, Jay Reale back with another episode of The Real Deal Show, and guess what I've decided to do? This is a little funky here, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to meet the staff here at ebodyboarding.com. So they're all very reluctant to be on camera. Trust me, they do not want to be here. So I'm kind of putting everybody in the hot seat. But the man sitting next to me, this is none other than Tommy Dolkas. Welcome to the Real Deal Show, Tommy.
Thanks for having me, Jay.
Yeah, you're super psyched to be here, right?
Yeah, I love being on camera.
He loves it, man. If you ever follow Tommy on his Instagram, I won't give up his Instagram account unless he wants to. It's up to you. You can keep it. You can keep it low down.
You can give me a shout out. I'm okay with that.
Okay, so why don't you tell him what your Instagram is?
It's Stuggy Chouse.
So you want to spell that?
Figure that out. Yeah, STOOOGIECHOUSE.
Okay, so that's 3 O's in the Stuggy part. So why is it Stuggy? Tell me what Stuggy is. I think I might have explained that in a prior show, but what is the word Stuggy?
Yeah, Stuggy is stand-up bodyboarding, or just a nickname for it. I like to do a lot of stand-up bodyboarding, so
the Instagram account reflects that. Okay, before we get into that, though, Tommy, I want to talk about, let's talk about what you do here. What do you do at ebodyboarding.com? What's your role?
I do a little bit of everything. So I handle all the returns, bit of customer service and sales, a lot of the screen printing and transferring, some of the website updates, and just back-end gear going on with that. And kind of just a little bit of everything, really.
You help customers too.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because, our staff, we're all bodyboarders here. Everybody knows all the stuff that we sell. Tommy is an expert. He's great with customers. We love him here. And when you started working here, you probably had no idea all the inner workings of running a business like this. Did you have any clue all the stuff you'd end up doing here?
No, I had a background in retail, so that part was fairly easy for me. But everything else I've learned since, and that goes on like in our company, I've learned a lot. Just I guess it seems kind of simple. You think of a bodyboard shop, but there's really a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah, so it's like, we have a staff of 3 in addition to Vicky and I, and we spend our entire days working on the back end of this business, putting listings on the internet, talking to customers, working on the shipping, unloading shipments. There's so many pieces to the puzzle to run the business. Tommy is an integral part of that. He even processes all the returns. I think he might have said that.
Yeah.
Don't make any returns if you don't have to. You need to keep everything that you buy from us, people. So, in a perfect world, that would be great. But so let's get into the history of Tommy Dolkas. Okay, so born and raised. Where were you born and raised?
Yeah, I was born and raised here in San Clemente.
Okay. Local boy, right on. Yeah. And so you have a big family, right?
Yes, I do. So I have 4 older sisters, my mom and my dad. And then, a lot of my sisters have kids now. So I think there's about 16 total in our family right now.
Oh, my God.
So, it's a really big family. It's
so
crazy.
You grew up with 4 sisters, man. How was that?
Yeah, it was rough.
And you're not Mormon.
I'm not Mormon. It was, it's all I know really. So, but it was crazy. A lot of feminine stuff going around the household. And I guess I learned how girls operate, which is a good trade to have.
Sure. Moving forward into your life.
Yeah, but just a lot of girl stuff going around the household growing up.
I want to know if you fought with your sisters.
Physically, no, but definitely a lot of verbal arguments. I think mostly with my my youngest sister, who's still older than me, but yeah, we're closest in age.
Yeah. So where do you fall into the mix in terms of birth order? Like, are you the middle? Are you oldest, youngest?
Yeah,
what are we talking?
I'm the youngest. So,
okay.
Yeah, the youngest one is about 4 years older than me, and then all the way up. I'm 26, so all the way up to I think 36. I want to say. I'm honestly don't know exactly.
It's easy to lose track when you have four sisters.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
So you're the youngest. So what it sounds like is your parents kept trying until they had a boy. They were just going to keep going until a boy came out. Is that right?
I think, I don't know. I don't know exactly. They think they wanted a boy, or maybe they're looking for another girl, but I came out either way, so
okay.
Deal with me.
So, Tommy, growing up in San Clemente, did you gravitate to any particular sport, like starting out at a young age? Did you play all the traditional sports and all that?
Yeah, my parents kind of wanted me to find something that I really liked, so I tried a lot of different sports, almost all of them, football, soccer, baseball, but always had a passion for the ocean, and surfing was really cool, but I wasn't super into going out in the big surf. It kind of scared me. So my first hobby really was skimboarding, because you could avoid getting caught inside on those big sets.
Yeah.
But you were still at the beach and in the ocean.
Yeah. Without the hazards of drowning.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'd say that was my first sport that I was super into.
Yep.
And then after that really came bodyboarding.
So you got into bodyboarding how? Did friends do it? Did your dad or mom get you into it? How'd that work out?
Yeah, I was on my 13th birthday, and at that point I kind of was skimboarding less, because if you know anything about San Clemente, the skimboarding's not super great around here. It's kind of okay in the summer, but really Laguna is where it's at.
More shore break in Laguna, less here. Yeah.
So I was kind of not doing a whole lot of skimboarding. Played a little bit of volleyball. My 13th birthday, my dad got me a bodyboard, and I was like, "Sweet, got a bodyboard." But I didn't really think I was gonna get super into it. And then, my dad took me bodyboarding, and I think I just got one really good wave where I didn't do much. I kind of just went down the line super fast, but that feeling of just going really fast on a wave was like the first time, and it was also the first time I think I really used swim fins with bodyboarding, which changes the game. After that kind of one wave, I was super hooked and have been going since.
So now you're still bodyboarding, but you surf, you stand up boogie. What's the deal with that? You just want to mix it up? You want some variety? What?
Yeah, I think I get bored of just riding one type of craft. So some days the waves aren't super good for surfing and they're better for bodyboarding, and vice versa. And then it just makes it fun having that challenge to get better at a sport.
Yep.
Because you're never just riding one, so maybe you're a little rusty at stand-up bodyboarding, and you take it out again and it becomes a new challenge, and it's just fun switching it up for me.
Yeah, I notice a lot of guys that are really good at one form of wave riding, they start to branch out into other forms of wave riding because they want that challenge. Like maybe I won't say mastered surfing or mastered longboarding or whatever the sport is that they choose to ride a wave on, but they've gotten really good at it and maybe hit a plateau, and they think, oh, okay, I want to try that. I want to ride that board and see how good I can get on that. And then they really have a good toolbox when they go to the beach of different vehicles to ride in the water. I mean, is that kind of the case with you? You got a lot of different boards in your garage, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of a problem, honestly, because I end up taking like 5 boards down to the beach with me, or put them in my truck, and I honestly wish sometimes I only liked one of them, but some days I just feel like there's one of those choices is going to be better than one of the other ones, so I tend to kind of have that quiver so I can be satisfied with my session.
Sure, because it's hard to decide. You'll pull up to the beach, it might be better for stand-up surfing because the wave is a little mushier, but some days you might go, man, that could be fun on a boogie, or it could be fun on a surfboard, and then you're in a pickle because you got to figure out, what am I going to ride today, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about travel. You've done a little bit of traveling. Talk about what one of your favorite trips was to ride waves.
Yeah. Hard to say. I'd say, I guess, probably one of my most recent trips, I went down to Barra de la Cruz in mainland Mexico. That was really fun, I think, because it was a little unexpected on like how the waves were going to be at the time, because we weren't originally going to go there, but ended up going down there for about 2 days and just getting really super fun surf. If you guys ever seen that wave, it's about as perfect as it gets. Just long right beach break, point break, and just surfing for like 6 to 7 hours every day. And it's just kind of what I live for. If you go on a surf trip, I love that feeling of being super surfed out after. Warm water. That had to be, just because it was kind of unexpected and it was the most recent, I'd say that was one of my favorite trips. But there's definitely been, I think every trip I have a really good time, but that was, I guess, the most recent that I can really still have that like froth from still.
So when you came back from that trip, you told me that you and your girlfriend got really sick.
Yeah.
So talk about that, man.
So yeah, we were originally, and that's kind of the reason why we stayed down there. So we went for my girlfriend's birthday. We're supposed to be there for about 4 days in a place called Zipolit, which is a little bit north of Barra. We had, I think, 2 days left in our trip. On my girlfriend's birthday, we ended up going to this pizza place, and we both got super bad food poisoning, just throwing up, chills.
Montezuma's revenge, as they call it.
Montezuma's revenge. It was not fun. So about like the day we were supposed to leave, we were kind of just recovering, and I think I just told Jay and Vicky, I said, hey guys, kind of had 2 days taken away from our trip.
Got to make up for the two lost days.
Got to make up for it. So yeah, then we extended the trip by 2 days, went a little further south down to Barra, and surfed our brains out with no food in our stomach and feeling pretty bad.
You were lightweight.
Yeah, I guess I was light, so I was able to go faster or something.
Well, that wasn't the first time you've had a problem in Mexico. Let's talk about the injury that you suffered in Puerto Escondido. What was the year?
I think it was 2000. What was that? It was about 2018, I want to say.
Okay, so like 3 years ago or something, roughly. So talk us through that, man. Talk us through that catastrophe.
Yeah,
this is gnarly, people.
I'll try to make it somewhat short. I was down in Puerto Escondido with one of my good friends, Jack. We were supposed to be there for about a month. About a week and a half in, I woke up really early, just board shorts and my surfboard, and I went to go surf La Punta, which is, if you've been to Porto, just a little bit south of Zicatela and the main break over there. Was there first light, was surfing for about 3 hours, kind of on the outside part, because it was really crowded on the inside, and not a very big day, probably about head high. There was a really fun left breaking kind of on the rocks a little bit. You can dodge the rocks, just kind of going right at them. My last wave was the swell was picking up, and there was like a really good set, and I got it. It's a left point, so going, and I go to pull into this wave, and as I'm going, I see that I'm lining up straight to go hit this really big rock.
Oh my God.
I kind of made it as far as I could in the barrel and then jumped off. At that point, I kind of don't know exactly what happened, if I hit a rock or if I hit the sand just perfectly in the wrong way. But either way, basically pencil dove directly onto really shallow surface of some sort and felt a really awkward feeling in my right leg, and I was just like, what was that? At first I thought it was a stingray. I was like, that something snapped me. That felt really weird. Oof. And then came up, it's about knee deep in the water, and I lifted my right leg up, kind of, all over the place at this point, and saw my right leg was just perfectly in half, kind of where the ankle is, and twisted almost like a 180, like my foot was.
Full compound fracture.
Not compound, but perfectly separated. Whoa. So it was, you could see the bone wasn't together.
Something wasn't in the spot it was supposed to be in.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that.
Yeah, it was not good. So I proceeded to take some waves on the head after seeing that, and the pain was definitely going. Eventually made my way towards kind of like, there's like a little inlet area that I made my way in between, like these two rocks.
Kind of a calmer zone in there?
Yeah, like a little keyhole that I could go through. But there was no one really on the beach except for this one girl that was way down the beach. And I was just screaming, ayúdame, like help, help.
Whoa.
And luckily she heard me because I couldn't make my way all the way to the dry sand. So at that point, she eventually saw me, and luckily she was this really awesome older lady in her 40s maybe, retired firefighter from California.
Wow.
She came up to me and she kind of was looking at me like, oh, what's the matter? And then as soon as she saw my leg, I saw her face just lit up.
Oh.
And yeah, she put me on her shoulder basically and helped me hobble up to the dry sand. From there, she got kind of like the rescue squad down at La Punta. They got a cardboard box, put a splint for my leg, called up the ambulance. I got put in the back of a pickup truck. Was waiting kind of at the road for a little bit, and like there was everyone around there was looking at this scene because I was screaming like bloody gore.
Yeah, really.
It was really bad. And then eventually the ambulance came and they took me to the hospital in Porto Escondido and proceeded to have surgery from there.
Yeah, so how was that a little frightening? I mean, no offense to Mexico, but you're down there in need of a serious procedure on your leg, and you're maybe not the most confident about the medical staff's ability to handle such a potentially catastrophic injury, right?
Yeah, it was super scary. I mean, the whole thing was pretty terrifying. I didn't have anything with me either. That was another thing that was scary. So like no cell phone. So I didn't know how to contact my family or my friend that I was staying with.
Wow.
And on top of that, I went from, the wet being drenched just in my trunks in the ocean to being put down on the dry sand. So I was fully sugar donut, covered in sand.
Oh my gosh.
Got brought to the hospital, and yeah, the hospital was nicer for Mexico standards, but definitely a little bit more janky than you'd see around here.
Yeah, so they had to clean the sand off of you, obviously, because they're going to do surgery.
They off my leg they did, but on my back was. For the 5 days I was there, I never got washed off. So it was really uncomfortable.
Gnarly.
And then, I proceeded to have surgery because my leg was completely disconnected and they had to act fast on it.
Oh, for sure.
The surgery, they just gave me a epidural, right? Is
Yeah,
what it's called?
yeah.
So
just in your spine.
Yeah.
So they didn't even put you out.
No, I was awake for that, pretty sedated, but I was, definitely awake during the surgery, and a lot of it I kind of like blanked out of my mind, but it wasn't a good 5 days.
Yeah, so I mean, how did you reach your friend who you were there with and your family? Did they give you a phone, or you sent somebody to go find your friend, I assume?
So one of the guys that helped me on the beach was the ex-husband of the owner of the hotel we were staying at.
Oh.
So it was a really like small world thing.
Okay.
So he called her, and she got my friend Jack to call my parents.
Okay.
Jack came to the hospital. My parents eventually flew down there. So I got really lucky, even though it was a pretty bad situation. There was a lot of good things. Kindness
of strangers.
Yeah.
So now 3 years on, as we record this in December of 2021. By the way, it's freezing in here, which is why we're wearing jackets. We're in the warehouse here at bodyboarding, and it's like 48 degrees in here, man.
Chilly.
So I apologize for the puffy jackets. But so 3 years on, what are the after effects of your injury? You still dealing with it now?
Yeah, a little bit. I can't really run as fast as I used to be able to. When it gets cold like this, I definitely feel it's kind of painful.
Aches a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit achy.
Because you have metal rods in there.
Yeah, so I have a rod, and I did have 4 screws also in there, but I had those taken out, and since then it's been a lot better.
Heavy.
But yeah, it feels, I still feel it, but I think after I got the screws taken out, it hasn't been as bad.
Do you set off metal detectors?
No, luckily I don't.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of was excited for that for a little bit, because I don't know, I thought it'd be cool, but they never went off.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's good. They use some kind of metal that is undetectable, titanium, I guess. Well, that's heavy, man. So, well, that's cool, man. You know, you've recovered from a potentially catastrophic injury. You're obviously still surfing at a super high level. It hasn't impacted your ability to surf, I assume? At least now? I know you were going through some PT for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit more cautious towards certain things that I used to not be.
Yep.
Not really trying to do like floaters in the flats on a surfboard, and just certain things like that I'm more cautious with. But I feel like it's actually made me kind of take care of my body a little bit better, where I'm stretching a lot more now before sessions. So I didn't do much of that before, so maybe that's why I broke it.
So, okay, let's go outside of surfing. This is my last line of questioning here. What do you like to do other than surf? Do you have any other hobbies, interests, or is that it? It's surfing? Because I know for me, there's not much else for me. I mean, a couple other things, but surfing is a daily thing for me.
That's definitely the main thing.
Yeah.
I do like traveling beyond surfing. I guess kind of like exploring different areas. Usually it kind of has to do with surfing, though, to be honest.
Yeah, sure.
I really enjoy going down to Baja and just kind of driving around, even if the waves are flat, and just kind of exploring and seeing new coast.
Yeah.
Camping. Usually that goes hand in hand with surfing for me, but I would say that's kind of part of my go-to.
Yeah, I totally get it, man. Well, that's cool, man. I totally appreciate the time. This is Tommy Dolkas. You've just heard most of his life story. 4 sisters, catastrophic injuries, works at eBodyboarding. The man is a San Clemente local from day one, and we're stoked to have him here at eBodyboarding. Anything else you want to say? You want to shout out to your family, friends?
Thanks for having me on the show, Jay.
Of course, man. Anytime. So you guys are going to get to meet the rest of the staff. But for now, folks, thanks for tuning in to The Real Deal Show. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. Click the thumbs up button if you like this interview with Tommy D. And put some comments down below. Tell us what you think of Tommy. You might want to know. I don't know. Ladies, what do you think? He's taken. Sorry, folks. What about me? No, I'm taken too. I know. I'm a catch. But that's it for The Real Deal Show. Thanks for watching, folks. If you listened on the audio podcast, we hope you enjoyed that. And we will see you next time. And as always, see you in the surf.